We're going to stick with basketball for one more segment because what we're seeing from Oklahoma City is just incredible. So if you want the football contact, we're going to talk about the college football playoff rankings. Very last segments, skip forward about 8 to 10 minutes, and you'll be there. But let's talk Thunder. Because, most NBA teams, for most NBA teams, the first quarter, it's just, that's the warm-up, right? That's the stretch out your legs, period. That's the let's see what the other team is doing moment of the game. It's where you establish pace, you establish rhythm. That's what you do in that first quarter. For most teams, but not for the Oklahoma City Thunder. The first quarter for the Thunder has become a weapon. Let me tell you what I mean. What we're watching right now, what we saw Monday against New Orleans, it's not just another fast start from a talented young team. No. This is something deeper. This is something more calculated. This is something that says we're done easing our way into games. We're here to end them early. And the Thunder did just that. They didn't just beat the Pelicans. They detonated on the Pelicans. I mean, right out of the gate, this game felt different. Oklahoma City puts up 49 points. That's a franchise record. They put up 49 points, and they led by 25 points after 12 minutes. And I want you just to think about how rare that is here in the modern NBA. Teams don't usually lose games in the first quarter. They might struggle early. They might fall behind, but competitive tension usually stays alive at least until the early third quarter, but not on Monday. This wasn't just a strong opening. It was the basketball equivalent of pulling the fire alarm before anybody knows there's even smoke in the building. Less than 3 minutes into this game, Oklahoma City's up by 10 points. Before the halfway point of the quarter, they were up by 20. The Pelicans looked like they were still trying to figure out, where's my water bottle on the bench? And the Thunder, man, they're running layup lines. And look, New Orleans has excuses here. Zion was out. They're adapting to a new coach. You got young guys getting thrown into the fire here. But none of that really explains what happened, because this wasn't about New Orleans. This was about Oklahoma City deciding the game before the Pelicans even had a chance to settle in. When Oklahoma City jumps out to that 36-11 lead, it's not just because one guy got hot. It wasn't because they hit a string of lucky threes. It wasn't because, Shai drops 20 in the first, that kind of night. This was the system doing the heavy lifting for this team. By the 6-minute mark, the Pelicans had 6 turnovers. The Thunder had already cashed in 13 points out of those 6 turnovers. At one point, Oklahoma scored on 15 of 17 possessions in this game. That's borderline absurd. That's the kind of efficiency you'd expect to see, really in a pregame shooting drill, not against a professional team. And that's the beauty of what the Thunder have created. You don't have to hope that Shai goes nuclear. You don't have to hope that Chet is feeling aggressive. You don't have to hope that Dort remembers how to shoot. The system generates clean looks. The system forces mistakes. The system accelerates pace and breaks defenses apart. Everyone touches the ball. Everyone gets rhythm. Everyone gets fed. Last year's team was already elite. They had the best clutch numbers in basketball. They could grind out fourth quarters. They wore teams out with youth, with defense, with tempo. But you know what? They weren't a first-round knockout team. This year, they've become front runners in the best way possible. This isn't arrogance. This isn't overconfidence. This is a team that understands its strengths so deeply that it knows the fastest path to winning is through early control. Think about what they're doing. They're leveraging conditioning, passion, defensive activity, elite spacing, better shooting, and a deeper, more cohesive rotation. They're using all of that to bury teams before the opponents even know what hit them. That's how defending champions play. This is how experienced contenders play. This is how you win a lot of games without burning out your stars. Let's talk about Chet for a second. Because while SGA is the heartbeat of this team, Chet has quietly become the metronome, right? He's the player who dictates early rhythm. Last season, he had moments of brilliance, but they seemed to come in waves. He would feel the game out, he would adjust, and then he would attack. This year, dude, he just walks on the court knowing he's going to set the tone. Against New Orleans the other night, he put up 26 points, 9 boards, shot 10 of 14. But the numbers don't tell you how he changed the game, the mathematic, the geometry, whatever. For the moment he touched the ball, the Pelicans had to pick their poison, right? If they double him, then SGA carves them up. If they stay home, then Chet just found angles and finished. If they switch, that's mismatch city for the Thunder. If they dropped, 3 points, Chet Holmgren is making defenses wrong before they even make their decision. And that's why these early runs are becoming so common, because the Thunder, they're not just hot. They are unstoppable. And yeah, let's talk about the reigning MVP, right? I don't even know how to describe how easy this game looks for him right now. 23 points, 8 assists, 3 steals, and then another night where he didn't even play in the fourth quarter. Right? If you didn't check the box score, you might not even think that he had done very much. That's the point. This team is getting so far ahead early that Shai gets to coast. He gets to manage the game like a superstar who knows his team has his back. He doesn't need to take over. He doesn't need to force shots. I mean, his streak right now, 87 straight 20-point games. It's second only to Wilt Chamberlain. And it feels like it's effortless what he's doing. And I think that's the loudest statement you can, make in the regular season. Think about what they're saying. When the MVP doesn't even need to break a sweat, your system, it's terrifying. And let me say this as well, while we're talking about players. Oklahoma City needed this game from Lu Dort as well. He had been hurt. He had been cold. He had been pressing. But Monday night, he gave them 17 points. He went 4 of 6 from deep, including 12 points in that monster first quarter. And here's why that matters. If Dort is even an average shooter, the Thunder are hard to defend. But if he shoots the way he did on Monday, it's borderline unfair how good this team is. Last year, Dort quietly hit almost 39% from three-point range. If that guy is back, even occasionally, Oklahoma's spacing becomes lethal. SGA's drives become unstoppable. Chet's pick and pops become automatic. A confident Lu Dort raises the Thunder's ceiling in ways that they're not always reflected on the stat sheet. And I think we got to talk about, Isaiah. I didn't mean to go this far down individual players, but we got to talk about iHeart. This is the ultimate glue guy. If there's one player who embodies winning, it's Hartenstein. 16 points, 7 boards, 6 assists, 4 steals, a block, 70% shooting from the floor. Those are ridiculous numbers for a center who's not even supposed to be a scoring threat. And when you look at this guy, the way he screens, elite. The way he communicates, elite. The way he passes, so underrated. His instincts, off the charts. He's the connector that makes the Thunder's second wave just as deadly as the first. And there's a reason that the Thunder have looked even more cohesive since he entered the starting lineup. He gives them structure. He gives them toughness. And there's an anchor on both ends without really needing touches. Every contender needs a Hartenstein. And the Thunder, man, they've got their perfect guy there, that glue guy. So let me tell you why this game matters. What we saw on Monday night. Look, and again, I mentioned this. The Pelicans, they're wounded, right? They're missing a star. They're adjusting to a new coaching voice. But that's not why this was a blowout. This was a blowout because Oklahoma City refused to let New Orleans breathe. Before the Pelicans could even settle in, the Thunder had already forced 6 turnovers. They'd already turned those into 13 points. They'd already built a double-digit lead. They had already broken the competitive tension in this game. And that last part, that's huge. When a game loses competitive tension early, the trailing team starts playing desperate basketball. They force shots. They rush possessions. They lose their rhythm. And Oklahoma City's doing that to teams on purpose. That's what veteran championship teams do. It's what they learn. They don't just beat teams. They take away their belief. And this is why the rest of the league should look, even though we're in November, the rest of the league should look at this Oklahoma City team and be nervous. Because Oklahoma City already had the reigning MVP. They already had the best defensive guard duo in basketball. They've got a 7'1" unicorn. They've got the deepest guard rotation in the league. They've got a system built on discipline and unselfishness. They have an elite defensive identity. And now they've added a historic first quarter avalanche to their toolkit. This is the evolution of a team that's already gone through the fire. And they did that last season. And they came out as NBA champs. This is what it looks like when potential turns into identity, when youth matures into confidence, when a contender becomes something more dangerous, a team that you can end early on, right? They're going to come in and they will put you to sleep early, that first round knockout. And if Oklahoma City keeps weaponizing the first quarter like they're doing, the rest of the league, they're going to spend a lot of nights down 20 points wondering how the game slipped away really before it even had a chance to get started.